Hello guys, good morning everyone, or good afternoon, depends where you are. How is everyone doing? How was your trading week last week? And what are your plans for this weekend as well? What are you looking for? If you are in US, what are your plans for your big weekend with the 4th of July next Monday? So today it's going to be another weekly analysis, so preparation for the next week. That's the main purpose of this live stream on Saturday. So it's to try to find a few setups, maybe for the week ahead, review a little bit what happened during the last week. It was there were some good movements during last week. Across basically all the sectors, a few lows being broken, a few key levels of structure being taken. Example, Aussie dollar breaking the lows, gold as well breaking some lows. Dollar yen make another higher high. Dollar index came all the way back, as you can see on this chart. It came all the way back to touch this. This high here, basically this left shoulder in here. Basically all the past orders that were within this high, they've been taken now. I've been having this kind of supply zone in there. You can see that on my previous live streams. I think there were still orders somewhere in there, because this high never really took those orders. Initially we had that move with this one, but apparently price still decided to go to that last zone line with this left shoulder, and we basically took the orders from there yesterday. Yeah, maybe we can start with this dollar index. Usually I like to take a look at I like to start with dollar index actually before even go then to the other FX pairs, just because dollar index it's a good mirror, a good overweight from what you can expect for the other major dollar pairs. So the correlation that it has with euro, and when actually the market is aligned. For example, yesterday you could see that when kind of the market is aligned and the dollar is actually in a trending either up or down, we can see that usually the other FX pairs, the major FX pairs, are doing kind of the opposite. Dollar index going higher, euro dollar going lower, pound dollar going lower, Aussie dollar going lower, New Zealand usually dollar going lower, and then CAD, dollar franc Swiss, and Japanese yen usually they may go on the same direction of the dollar index. So it depends as well, but that's something that I like to pay attention to. It can provide you good opportunities. For example, if you see that dollar index that was yesterday, for example, if you notice that dollar index was approaching this level, these highs, right? Something that you could start paying attention to is where we are in the other pairs. For example, I don't really trade dollar index, but I do trade the other ones. So I'd start to pay attention to where we are, what levels are we approaching. Since we are approaching these highs, maybe one of the two things kind of could happen. Kind of price eventually ignores and continues to the upside, and maybe there will be some momentum and dollar could get stronger. Or maybe we are actually at this key level, which can be a good zone for a reversal. And how would those other pairs be impacted by that, right? So maybe when you start looking for this, maybe or expecting maybe reversal in here from this move to the upside now to the downside, look for longs, most likely on euro, on pound, Aussie, and so on. And look for sales on dollar CAD, dollar franc Swiss, and so on. So if by any chance your price is aligned with the key level of structure on the other pairs, and actually that happened yesterday, I actually got long around this level on pound when dollar franc Swiss, when dollar index was actually around here. Pound was retesting a key low on the left side, so that's actually why I went long in there. I did miss Aussie dollar though, and the USD CAD shorts as well. But there were good levels, as you will see in a bit. I will show you that. So yeah, that's why I like to look at dollar index. Main correlation, of course, is with euro dollar, but you can also see good trading opportunities just by looking and analyzing dollar index and then just going to the other ones and find those opportunities. So what we had in here during this week. So dollar index, basically we opened the week 27, I believe. So price was kind of somewhere in here. We are literally approaching this this zone in here, this low. This month zone was still fresh. Nice approach to this level, so we can see this compression going down. We actually could even draw a trend line in here that could help to notice when actually we were about to kind of turn to the upside. Don't know if you use trend lines or not, or if you just look for maybe the break of some highs before actually you look for that. But this trend line could be a good confirmation that maybe price was about to turn, just as it happened in here. So after actually touch this low in here, you could wait. If you don't review, if you are not looking straight away immediately, we'll go look for longs in here. After the breakout trend line, you can have that confirmation. Maybe there could be a better opportunity. Price actually has done this. I don't really think it did. I think it just broke through with the strong move to the upside, and then it started ranging a little bit. And after that, has been basically respecting this new trend line in here. Yeah, but there was a good zone. So for example, this level in here, when this low came all the way back here, this was a good level to maybe look for that opportunity as well. Maybe look for longs in here, which would be kind of the opposite of maybe looking for sales on euro and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, so this week actually we could see, I would say that was a week dominated by euro weakness. For example, we could take a look at euro Aussie, euro yen, euro dollar, euro pound even, and you can see that basically they were the main leaders of those currencies in terms of pushing price down. For example, I remember that I saw it like Wednesday or something like that, when dollar yen was actually breaking the high, euro yen was actually moving lower. It was not following what dollar yen was doing. It was going down because actually all across the euro pairs they were actually going down in that moment. So after this, we did move to the upside. There was of course basically all of this has been compressed in here. So the natural next zone, it will be kind of the test of this size, maybe expecting price. Basically this was the zone that we'll be looking for as soon as we actually have that break to the upside. All this is compressed, as you can see, all these moves like this, taking all the supplies on the way down. In here as well it has been taken, in here as well it has been taken, this one as well has been taken in there. So basically all of this has been taken. Maybe there was some level in here, but basically all of this has been taken all the way down. So no surprise that price would react and move now to the retest, move to retest this size in here. After it gets to this size, it needs to make a decision. It either breaks it or respects it. That's then what we need to start paying attention to. How the approach has been doing, how the approach to the zone is how price is moving towards this highs, and if there's any confirmation, if you start seeing break of lows on the way up, maybe that could be a good clue to see if this level or not is going to be respected as well. Does this low still has reacted from the final target or not, or maybe you should have even expect price to go even a little bit further down from this low. That's something that we also need to pay attention to in order to get some ideas or more clarity regarding that, if this high actually is going to hold price down or not. So yeah, overall I think I've been mentioning that in a longer term view I'm still kind of bullish on dollar index. I'm still expecting price to go higher. If we take a look at the weekly, I'm still expecting eventually price to go a little bit higher. I did mention that we may have still this supply in here around 108. And my favorite zone is actually after taking this high in here. So after taking this spike or this week in here, and then maybe seeing price getting close to 110 level. That's basically where I would actually look. Would like to see dollar going. There is that potential if the indices as well go down, but that's a longer term view. Shorter term, I could see definitely these highs being holding a little bit more, maybe even price getting somehow closer to these lows, maybe even this level in here. We are indeed also trading kind of within this kind of channel. You can see our price has been respecting this level in here. Maybe this could be a zone that maybe price wants to react from. So far, even though price respected that level, maybe waiting for the break of this low could be an option before actually having a better confirmation. Maybe there are now still orders now created in here close to these highs. There may be still some orders now in here that maybe can use still this left shoulder to look for sales. But as we start having way too many touches close to these highs, eventually what you're going to see is that way too much liquidity starting to be just above it. So expecting that fake out could be an option. Maybe the fake out towards maybe this zone that we are kind of trading in here could be an option, but in the end I would still actually like to see price going higher, or maybe first to touch that 108 level. Take a look at what level is that. Just in this auto. Maybe is this 106 for. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, even if you are not watching it live. I will for sure go back to you during the next live stream. So usually I'm doing 2 live streams per week, one on Tuesday. Tuesdays must focus on educational content, whatever topic you are bringing in. If you want to share your analysis with me, your charts, I will review them. That's the main purpose of that webinar on that live stream on Tuesday. And on Saturday, like today, I'm going to be looking at maybe possible zones where price may want to go for the week ahead, or even a longer term play like I'm just doing now. And there is that option. So it's 106 that I have in here. I think it has been taken. I think this week actually took maybe the orders from this from the supply. So I'm not sure if it's still that fresh. It was kind of this zone in here, kind of this low. It worked kind of as a support resistance quite a few times, aligning with this level. It worked in here as well, so kind of within this range, kind of worked a few times. But I'm not sure if this week, this kind of in here, I'm not sure if this guy has taken the orders from there. So it may be actually already a weaker level, but we may have this one in here. So instead actually of that one, I will draw this one instead. This is a daily chart, so maybe that's the zone that maybe price wants to go to. This becomes the 106.011 kind of. I don't think I can go into the lower time frame. We are checking levels of 2002, so it's 20 years ago. And I don't think I have enough data, historical data in the lower time frame to check it. So yeah, this new level that I just draw, kind of that I marked 106.023. It's a little bit more closer. It's a little bit closer to this high, which is kind of nice here in terms of collecting liquidity, because when you are collecting kind of liquidity from that highs, we don't really want to see like a move that far away from that zone, right? No one's going to kind of, because in terms of liquidity, if you're thinking that you're collecting stop losses, no one's going to be placing their stop losses 100 pips above the high, right? It's kind of maybe look for those maybe 20-30 pips maximum of distance That's maybe where people are going to be placing their stop losses, and that's where maybe we're going to try to find a zone aligned with that, right? If it is already too far away, maybe that's going to be for the future, and for the future means let's see how price is going to approach that level again, how it's going to create those highs to collect those orders. So far, maybe this level is still within this kind of channel that we have in here. That could be an option. Let's see how market is going to open next Monday. We do have this trend line. Maybe if we do break it, maybe there's a chance that we go all the way down. Maybe not even in here, even though this money is still fresh, as you can see. But maybe price actually is going to go all the way further down and even break this low and maybe collect orders from here. A few weeks ago, even when price was somewhere in here, I mentioned that I was still even looking for price maybe to get closer to this level. As you can see, I think there's still orders in there. Can you see in here, aligned kind of with this zone? So this low actually never went there. So at least on this 4-hour time frame, I could see price eventually in the future getting closer to this level. Maybe still respect this one. Looks like there's still orders just underneath this. So kind of respect it a little bit, but then eventually just take those orders within this level and maybe move higher from there. Maybe that could be a game plan to eventually push price to the upside. Let's see. But for me, there's still kind of orders within this zone. It's going to be a zone that I'll be looking for eventually for potential longs in the future. Whatever that happens, next month, next 3 months, next 6 months, I don't know. It's going to be a zone that I'll be looking for. It depends if price actually wants to now go to the downside, or if it wants just to continue now going higher without even, maybe it just continues to go higher without even making this move to the downside. So yeah, it's going to be just a zone that I'll be paying attention to. Set up your alerts and look at it in the future. So yeah, so dollar index, let me actually take a look just in the lower time frame just to see if there's anything interesting in here. And it looks like there maybe is, because this high so this is another way that usually you see price moving, right? So this is another tip that you guys can pay attention to. So what I'm about to say is, usually when you have this, let's pretend that this decision point, flag, order block, whatever name you want to call it, there are two zones that usually price is going to react from. Okay, so kind of we have the base of it, and then we have the other extreme. Okay, so let's pretend that this is a supply, this green rectangle that I just drew, and kind of have the base of it, and then we kind of have the other extreme. Okay. So when you have those two zones, then this is what happens. This is when price comes back. These are kind of the two zones that usually you're going to see price or expecting price to react from. Maybe if we do have a left shoulder in here, maybe this origin is a little bit bigger. Maybe it starts from here and it's not exactly just this small zone at the top. It's maybe a little bit wider, right? Just don't be, I'm not drawing this in perfection in here, right? It can be a little bit wider, like don't be so expecting such perfection in here. But these are the two levels that you should expect price reacting from. So we should kind of, when price comes back, you should expect maybe the first reaction from here. The way usually you can actually see price doing, for example, let's pretend, okay, let me just draw this differently. Let's pretend price was going up, right? It comes up, respects that level, it respects that high, now it bounces here, somewhere in here a little bit. Maybe that one, respect a little bit more. And then eventually breaks it, right? No, actually, let me draw this differently. Respects it a little bit, goes down, and it, no, man. To have a supply zone in there. Right, okay, let's pretend it's like this. With this one actually touching this base again. Yep, and this one, apparently it's no longer like that. Let me just do this. Yeah, this one is going to be like this here. Let's pretend that this I never touch it. Okay, let's pretend that there's space. There's still space in here. Okay, there's space in there. This I never really touched this supply at the origin here. It is at this extreme. Basically, we are going to have these two zones, and one of the reasons that price usually is going to respect the base of this big supply. Let's pretend that this green rectangle that I have in here is a 4-hour daily supply, and then this red rectangles in here, it's kind of a 15 or 5 minutes supply zone. And this is one of the reasons that price usually respects this space. The first one is actually because this looks like maybe a previous level of support resistance zone, and that's going to be maybe the first zone where price is going to react from, right? So kind of we did had out these lows in here, so this was a support, and maybe now in the future, especially if you do have a new supply aligned with this level, that kind of it was a decision to break out this, and even broke maybe some lows on the left side. So this becomes a really important zone and a good zone for price to react from and to go, right? That's it. First zone is this one. You can look for trades in there, especially if they're still fresh. Again, there's space in here. This high in here never really went there, so there's space. Perfect. Look for the trade, and you go from there, right? Then maybe the way price is moving is okay. Let's go down, turns, and now kind of creates a new low in here, and goes higher, and kind of this becomes the new barrier. Okay. So this kind of becomes a new target after the short from here. This is your target. Don't need to expect anything more than that. It's kind of this zone in here. Maybe this kind of demand in here, whatever. Right? This is your target. And the good way to find out then if actually this zone in here, if this zone in here is going to be respected or not, one good trigger is to see actually if this low actually breaks this level, right? So expect kind of the reaction from the base of it. Okay, expect a reaction from the base, which kind of confirms this nice supply zone as an important one. And then if you break actually structure on the way down, when price reacts from there. So we break this level, kind of opens the door for price to go further down, and then price just retraces. Most likely may react from whatever level in here on 5 minutes, doesn't matter. Price then retraces, comes back, it breaks these highs, and now there's maybe a higher probability that price will eventually react from this zone. Kind of, you may have this left shoulder in there, right, which is kind of aligned as well with this supply zone, with this level, right? Again, this supply is still fresh, this decision point in there, left shoulder. This kind of looks like now a Quasimodo pattern. And that's usually a good confirmation that price most likely is going to react from there. And maybe now it's going to retrace. This basically can open the door as a target, and even if I expect maybe now price to go to this low, not even just here, because most likely this guy is already showing that wants to go down, and you can work like that. So expect this kind of maybe as a final target. Of course, was your first target, maybe it's just a retest of this previous level because this was important, becomes support, resistance, maybe could work as a support as well, and price could actually just go all the way up from here. So this around here could be your first conservative target, but then your last target could be already this level in here. So this is a good zone to know. So respect the base of the zone, look for it if it breaks some level of structure that was created as price was approaching this level. And if this happens, usually you're going to see that it's going to be a zone where price is going to react to. Reasons for it as well, as you can see, when you start creating these highs that are being respected by this supply zone, by this kind of support resistance zone, also maybe this supply, these highs in here, they become a really interesting zone, a good zone to then work as a zone to collect liquidity, right? Basically, everyone now is going to maybe start looking to sell again at retest of this high. right? So everyone is going to be looking to sell again here when prices approach this level, with their stop losses just above it, right? And this becomes now a great zone to look for a correct liquidity just into actually the real extreme of the zone, this game zone that it was in there. That's why also this level, this is kind of works as well like this. And it's a way for them to also collect liquidity. But the key point in here is actually look for that zone that actually breaks lows or breaks a low after reacting from this level. That's a really good confirmation that maybe this extreme is going to work. So if you now pay attention to actually what our index did in here, for example, you can see how they kind of reacted from the base of the zone in there, right? And then they broke these lows in here, and then they went there to the upside to still collect liquidity from these highs and now react from the extreme of the zone. And you can start finding these zones, these levels over and over again. Maybe even if I draw, for example, this rectangle properly, catching this high in here, even a little bit above, maybe collecting still this zone in here, this decision point, we can see that it's almost where this high reacted from. Price still broke this high and down, kind of collected now the orders from the zone a little bit more inside, and then it reversed. We'll see again, okay, I'll show in a bit, dollar CAD did almost exactly the same, and so on and so forth. So there are, you'll see that this is a really good zone to look for, first of all, to find out if actually this extreme is going to hold price or not. And yeah, it becomes a really nice place to look for that trade at the extremes with a little bit confirmation, because you're going to pay attention to this guy and you're going to pay attention to the approach. Okay, but yes, these two levels, the extreme, the base of this level, and this one, they are really good zones to look for those trades. Find those supplies, worth time frame supplies in there. This can be, again, the green zone. It's kind of a 4-hour daily time frame supply or decision point or order block or whatever. And then these red ones, they are war time frame ones where you can pinpoint some the best entries for you. This was just an explanation of where to find these levels, and something that you're going to find out quite nicely where to look for those trades. And just even if you just start waiting for those zones, so wait for that retest in there. If you don't catch this trade, and then if you look for if you pay attention and if price actually breaks structure, then you can find and wait and be patient and find the other extreme within this zone. Go find that decision point at the extreme and look for that trade in there. Maybe looking for a trade in here is no longer the best option, especially if you do still have those on a little bit above it. So pay attention to that. So dollar index, basically that's that. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to ask. And let me know if you already were looking at this kind of setup before. Yeah, feel free to comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do it. Let's try to... I'm almost on 500 subs, so thank you for everyone that has subscribed. My goal is to keep growing this channel now by creating content every week on a regular basis. I'll start creating shorter videos from the live streams, so hopefully that's going to be beneficial as well, with more precise content for all of you. And the goal is to grow the community, of course. So dollar index, that's that. There is still this possibility. This guy never really got there. Possibility, react from there, go all the way down, come back, and there you go. Do it like this. Be an option, or just react from here and go all the way down again, or just break it and use this level on the opposite side. If you do go to this zone, price can maybe just react from there, then it's going, and to the opposite, not like this. Okay, respected, goes down, then it is working, it's not, it breaks it, it goes, and it can go like this. Something similar to this. Okay, let's see what's going to happen in there. So if we move on, actually before I go to the indices, let's just take a look at the S&P and Nasdaq. So basically they have been respecting in here, mid range of these guys. Personally, I don't think it reached kind of the final zone. I could see more potential to the upside. I don't really like where these highs are reacting from in here. Only on Nasdaq, actually, Nasdaq likes to respect trend lines, and it's actually respecting a really nice one in here. Basically from this bearish trend line in here, and it's respecting that one as well. So we are kind of trading within this level. But again, I'm not a big fan of where price reacted from in here on the left side. I was waiting for price, or looking for price, to come a little bit closer to this lows. So yeah, price went up, retraced. We did have this nice demand in here. There's maybe still orders within this level as well that price can go and react from there. We do have this trend line, price basically is breaking it, and let's see, we do have now this key level in there, and then we can actually indeed go all the way back and retest these levels. Personally, I'm still bearish in the higher time frame. In the longer term firm, in the higher time frame, I'm still bearish on the indices. I'm expecting lower lows to be taken during the next few months. Most likely yesterday. It was maybe the first day of a technical recession in the US, after maybe a second GDP negative quarter. There is already one prediction that maybe the GDP is going to be minus 1% for the second quarter, so that would make it official. It's a technical recession mode in the US, and I don't think we haven't seen the lower lows yet on the indices, neither on crypto, neither on the euro dollar. So basically there's more room to the downside. Again, on dollar index, maybe more move to the upside, look for longs. Before that, there's maybe still a move in here to the upside that you can take. I kind of maybe see this zone as a good level maybe for the longs. You can see that these guys never took the orders from there, and you actually have this left shoulder in here. So maybe in here there's maybe a good zone to look for longs. Just create this double top, create this double bottom, which is perfect. I actually like to see that happening. And even create this new high, and then kind of respect it again, and then just do this and continue. That could be a nice zone, kind of maybe then retest this supply zone, then kind of retest these previous support resistors in here, and feel free to go up until maybe you get to this level again, right? But as I was saying, I'm still bearish, which means that I wouldn't really even like to see these highs being broken. That could be maybe too much, but maybe respecting this level and then continues the downside, that could be an option. Or if this level is not respected once more to the upside, maybe that's going to be used then as a sell, as a continuation to move to the downside in there. So that's maybe another option, but I do see that maybe there's still orders in here. I think there are. This guy never took there, like I just mentioned, and actually this approach is actually getting interesting, maybe to look for that long, because now we have this double bottom in here, so everyone's going to keep looking for longs within this level. And where are they going to place their stop losses? I think everyone knows that, so everyone's going to be looking for longs in here, keep looking for longs in there, right? And they're going to place their beautiful stop losses just underneath it, which is what they always do. So let's see. Yeah, But as I was mentioning, so in the higher time frame view, we can see that actually Nasdaq is respecting this weekly demand, weekly monthly demand. So this zone in here. So it's kind of natural to expect some reaction when price is reacting from such an important higher time frame zone. So there's no surprise that price actually bounced from there. However, in the end, as you mentioned, as you can see, I do have this trend line in here. Which is kind of nicely aligned with that demand zone. This is the high previous COVID. That could be a nice zone to look for. This one has already been taken in there. This one, for me, almost all this is compressed. It's compressed already. After the break of this wall, basically we entered into this compression mode, which can push price all the way back to almost the 10k level, right? 10k, it will be somewhere in here. Yeah, all the way back to 10k level. That's maybe where I'll be looking for before any major turn to the upside. That's basically where I'll be looking for on the Nasdaq. Okay, and basically expect price to completely break out this. Let's just wait for this demand kind of to be broken. This one actually has already been broken on the S&P, so that's an information that you can maybe use. This one has already been broken. If I show you here now, yeah, this was the demand zone in there. This one, and it has been taken. So kind of it opened already the door for, there it is. It kind of entered already into that compression that I mentioned. On the daily, on the weekly, maybe it's going to stop in there, but I think on the daily there's even more compression to the downside. So it doesn't even finish there. You can see I have all these wicks in here, and it's kind of again close to the same level. I think I can remove this Fibonacci. I don't need this Fibonacci here. I don't even know why I have this one here. Yeah, it kind of entered already into this kind of compression mode. Of course, we do have this kind of previous highs in here. This resistance support, maybe it can work there. As price bouncing again, but eventually, again, this key level of zone with COVID, this previous high in here, that could be interesting. Something that we haven't seen yet during this bearish move to down, this bearish market that we have seen since the beginning of the year, is if you take a look at the VIX. Basically, hasn't been any what do you call it? Not fear mode, but scary mode on the markets, right? Basically, VIX has been the maximum has been reached. It's been this 39 level. There isn't yet this big spike above 40. This one is during COVID. Even if you go all the way back, you can see in 2007-8 how high VIX went to, and we haven't seen that happening yet during this bearish market, right? It's been kind of moving higher in a kind of this trend line, if you want to see it, kind of creating higher highs, not higher highs, sorry, higher lows, but we haven't broken this. Maybe in that moment that we are going to see maybe a spike above this 39, 37 level, maybe that's when we're going to see that sell-off happening on the indices. Let's see when that happens, if it happens. But I do think that's still about to happen. We haven't had that big sell-off in the indices. Even if you compare with the previous moves back in 2008, maybe 2000s and the dot-com bubble, even before that as well, on the other bearish markets, just go study them, see how price behaved around that moment. So yeah, so these are the indices. I could see maybe a little bit of a move to the upside, maybe even retest these guys in here, and maybe then eventually continuation, or even retest these guys and then continuation to the downside. Maybe somewhere in here, maybe interesting. This of course is a new barrier. Let's see how it's going to happen. But yeah, this level, which is kind of 3,400 on S&P is kind of the key level that I'll be looking for as well. So that's that on in here. Oh, yep, dollar index. So now if you go to take a look finally to the FX pairs. So what happened in here? Let me just delete this, not delete, but minimize it. Let's get euro dollar in here. It's been playing around with me. All these lows, again, I've been mentioning a few times, still expecting this low to be taken. This one back in 2016-17. Dollar index has already taken this guy for a long time ago, already a few months ago. Euro keeps respecting it, and it keeps creating all these lows in here, and it keeps bouncing from there. So that's what he has been doing. We did react from this level. This is basically when I start doing these streams. I did mention this level to be a nice one to see, not this one, but this one. It would be a nice zone for price to, when price was somewhere in here. It was a nice zone to react from. It was an important level of support resistance. If you wanted to continue to move to the downside, it would be a great zone to look for it. Can you see how important this level was? And of course, all this was still fresh around here. So beautiful. That happened already 3 weeks ago, something like that. We came all the way back, respected these lows, and now basically yesterday we did respect it again. We did broke kind of these ones, but not exactly this one in here. And price keeps retesting. A trade that I took this week on euro, it was actually catching this move in here. I saw on Twitter that many people catch this actually move in here from somewhere, yeah, from around here. Different entries. Some people catch the kind of the entry in there. I didn't catch really this one. I think I mentioned I saw that this one was respected in there, even though I did notice this big compression after the break. There will be a big probability the price will just fill it, and it happened. So this was Wednesday, I think. Then was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. No, this was Tuesday, then Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday, another move downside. So as I mentioned before, euro has been moving completely to the downside during this week, when it started on Tuesday. These highs I mentioned before as well last week, I think, where we were. Yeah, last week, something like that. When I saw these highs in here, I didn't really like where it reacted from. I could see that didn't really react from this level, so expecting a new higher high on euro, it was something that I'll be looking for, and it did, reacted from there. After that, nice reaction from this left shoulder in here. I didn't see the engulf down, so I didn't really took this trade. But yeah, I did took this one in here. Actually, my entry was in here, but I saw that many people caught this trade, so congrats to everyone that did it. Different reasons, but I think following the SMC smart money concepts, whatever, many people saw that kind of the break of this, the approach was great. We had this compression already, another break of the low, price went up. It didn't really touch the supply, and that could have been an issue. I know that one of you, my followers, actually missed this entry in here, because price never really touched this kind of origin in here, so he missed the trade. I had a similar setup like that last week, 2 weeks ago on a dollar franc Swiss, and I missed it. And after the break of this, I placed my own entry in here. Actually even got a little bit of a better entry because of the pullback entry from the trading order box. And it's a great tool to open trades. Basically, I kind of placed my entry in here, price spiked above, so I actually got a little bit better entry. And there you go, price went, and I closed my entry under test of this low in here. And actually, as soon as I kind of did that, I kind of realized, yeah, that maybe was not the best exit. I think after that, at least until here, I think price could go easily, and maybe even further down. but it's okay. I was happy with the trade either way. I actually noticed this level. This was actually talked with the guy saying that this level would be really nice to. The price would go there even during the Asian session or London. It was actually Asian. Price took that level. Hey Feden, thanks for the comment, man. Take a look at EU0528. 0528. Is that for shorts? No. 05. Are you sure? 0528. In here? Could you rephrase your comment or the zone that you want me to look at? Thanks for the comment, by the way. Thanks for joining the stream as well. So yeah, that was a trade. And yesterday again, retest of this zone nicely, and price just went to the downside. I had to look for a short from somewhere in here, and maybe expect price to finally go and break the lows. Yeah, hopefully. I don't know now how many, like, because this level has been touched so many times in here. I'm not sure if I'll still be looking for a short in there. Kind of this level was nice. Kind of this decision point that was left behind in here. We had all this support resistance. So this was actually nice. I think yesterday I was actually looking for 1 second. Just change the time frame, because I think I was looking for price to go a little bit above it, above this high in here, but price never did it. So I basically kind of missed out this move to downside. For some reason I was looking for price to go a little bit above it, and after that, yeah, after that price, even though okay, there was already all these highs in here, but this was actually a nice spike in there. But I think it was here. I kind of saw this level. I'm not sure. Don't really remember now, but I was expecting price to go a little bit closer here for some reason, to try to look for a sell again, but price never got there. So that was it. Nice zone now that price is reacting from here. So let's see how price opens next Monday. But yes, I've been these buys that I've been having of waiting and looking for price to break these lows from 2016-17. It has actually put me on the side to look for some longs, and actually there was maybe some good price action confirmation. For example, in this move, I should have looked for the longs because there was a good BA in there. Maybe even yesterday somewhere in here. I didn't really pay attention to euro in here, but there was maybe even a good entry in there. But anytime price gets close to these lows, I'm just waiting. I just want to see those lows being taken. So I've been just always on the sideline on euro dollar anytime we get close to these lows, and I've been actually looking more for sells on euro anytime we kind of go a little bit higher to try to look for those shorts. My target hasn't been like to hold price and expect actually to hold it all the way to the lows. It's been more conservative than that. Yeah, this was my target of the trade. I kind of see this kind of weak in there. And you can see that didn't work as a long kind of the result, but it was respected a few times afterwards. But yeah, let's see. For some reason, yeah, yesterday I was looking for somewhere in here. Now if price gets there, 0528 that you mentioned, right? I think that was taken already on the way down. That's maybe that's why. Because we do have all these spikes in here. So for me, I think it would be maybe even this level could be a little bit better, or even a little bit above this. but we already have all these highs in here. So maybe I'll be even waiting for price to get closer to this level before even looking for a sell again inside here. Yeah, that will be my take. I don't know if I'll be looking again for sales in here. How does it look like on the daily? That's on. We do have this week in here. And you do have the other one in there. Yeah, maybe here. This one is 5213. Let's see. Let's see. But that actually, these lows that haven't been broken, it's always on the back of my mind, and because of that I'm still kind of looking for the dollar index actually to maybe go a little bit higher, because I still want to see euro dollar breaking this zone, right? Slowly the dollar pairs are getting to levels that I like to see. For example, if I go now to pound yen, to pound dollar, for example, I mentioned kind of a few times that this was a level that I was looking for. Kind of, for me, this is a good level, and I could be satisfied where with price kind of reacting from here and going higher. There's maybe something else closer to these lows that price can still go there, but I will be okay with this. On euro, I'm still not okay where the lows are reacting from. I really want to see those lows being taken. The pound is one of them. For example, Aussie dollar as well. It's another one. I think I've been mentioning that in my previous streams, that I wanted these lows to be taken. I didn't like where they were, so these were the ones. For me, all this was compressed. I could see, yeah, okay, price could still maybe react from this demand zone that was still in here, but I was not expecting price to just go all the way back and go to the highs. I wanted to see this level being taken, and after that level is being taken, maybe this could be a good zone. We have all these lows in here, all these highs, maybe somewhere in here could be interesting, but actually for now, yeah, thank you, mate. I'll be for sure. I will set up an alert for sure to look at those highs on euro dollar. We'll be looking there to see. Personally, I wouldn't even like to see euro go that high. Maybe even respect first just this highs that was created during yesterday's session. And after that, breaking finally the lows instead of even going close to this level. I would even prefer to see euro respecting first these guys, going all the way down, break the lows, and then yes. Because if we do go there, then it's another high that you break. Maybe there's the chance that price might just retest these guys and now continue to the upside. And I really don't want to see euro keep going higher, of moving far away from these lows before actually going there again. Yeah, but let's see. I will be definitely be paying attention to that level again, and any zones to maybe look for sales. It's something that I'll be looking at. But as I was saying, on Aussie dollar, price finally took those lows again. It accumulated all these lows in here. After that, finally it broke it. On the higher time frame, for me, it hasn't really reached the final zone, which is kind of this level. And this is where it's a little bit similar to Ethereum, because Ethereum actually had a similar compression zone where this low 2 weeks ago kind of reacted from. Basically, it broke the low of the compression, but it really went all the way down to the demand. On Ethereum, that demand it's around the 750 zone. So basically just took it, and after taking it, it's expected, actually it's normal to see some reaction. What you can do when you find these levels is actually go to the lower time frame in here and check maybe if you have any fresh orders on the lower time frame in there, and that may be a good zone to look for that small reaction to the upside. Again, this for me is an engulf down because we just broke this low, and kind of the next zone is going to be kind of somewhere in there. But on the short term, I could definitely see some longs, and that's actually I was busy doing a webinar yesterday when that happened at around 3 to 5. So I even missed this long in there, but there was an opportunity and I think there were orders left there. So if you take a look, basically this I think is where price is reacting from, and as you can see, I think there's a demand in there. There you go. We basically have this little thing in there where price actually reacted from. So just below that, this is basically the base of, or even this one if you want to be precise. This could be the beginning of that compression to the upside that you could see on the higher time frame, and this was the next demand just next to it. Eventually, in the future, when price comes back, this for me is already an engulf to the downside. So whenever price comes back here, I'm expecting this level to be broken, and then eventually you do get close to that 0.67 mark that I'll be looking for on Aussie, which is kind of somewhere in here. We do have this nice zone in here. Let's see if price reacts from there or if it reacts from here. I'll be paying attention to the approach as well and try to look for that entry. So yeah, price did react from this level yesterday. As you can see in here on the lower time frame, that's exactly where price reacted from. The trade that in theory, following my strategy, I should have taken was, it would have been in here. However, I was not looking at it. I didn't pay attention. So we do have all these lows, which is kind of perfect, something that I like to see. All these lows just above this demand zone in here, this kind of origin that makes price go to the upside. We do break structure already. We do even respect this level and then break a new high. I mentioned this kind of setup already, I think 2 weeks ago or last week when I was talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. I explained exactly how I like to look for my entries. And this could be the confirmation. It would have been after the break of this guy. Basically, we do have all this accumulation of highs in here. Wait for that break and then just wait for the test and you are free to go long. I didn't see this happening in here. When I noticed price was already here, I did still place kind of an order in here, because this could be the second opportunity. We do have these lows. We do break them, and this is something that you usually see. Either price breaks this one, kind of fake outs, and you can actually maybe start looking for longs after that. Because price either, two things, either price comes back down and collects these orders. So there are still orders in here, and price either does that immediately or it can do that in the future. So in the future, I will still be paying attention for price to get closer to this level. That's something that I'll be doing. Another situation is just price taking expected fake out. There's going to be a small fake out of a zone that is holding price. That happening here, and you could maybe look for that long in there. Usually I actually wait for this, so sometimes I just miss those setups in there. But this would have been my favorite entry in here. All this is compressed. Right? Basically, after the break of this high, especially with the confirmation of a new higher high in there, it just becomes a really nice zone confirmation. And this kind of could be the next target. And look at it. Our price just reacted perfectly in this zone in here, in this supply level in there, which is also aligned with the low that we just broke in the higher time frame. This one. So it was a natural target if you're looking for longs from here. I don't really need to expect even more. Maybe price could go and can continue, even go higher in there. But for now, that would have been a great trade. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. But yeah, there you go. You have a target, specific target. You have a specific zone that you want to fill. You have higher time frame, kind of confluence of a zone that wants to see. We have this compression, which is amazing. This high already was been taken, so most likely price wants to go higher in the future. We have the break of structure. We have another higher high. We have a double low. We have an efficiency in here. We have this beautiful zone in here. This we have shoulder. Price takes it, and there you go. This is a beautiful setup to study. If you like it, go find them. Go find more. If you find them, you can share them with me, and then you can talk about them on my next live stream on Tuesday, because that's actually the main purpose of that live stream. So yeah, higher time frame view on Aussie, as I've been mentioning, I've been bearish, and now we finally broke this level. after breaking off this level, because this is a higher time frame engulf. Jesus, if I had managed to hold price from here, I did predict this move as well, but whatever. So now after the break of this low, maybe we can have a deeper trace, maybe even until here or even a little bit above. This for me is kind of already an engulf to the upside. I mentioned that before, the break of this high. This for me is already an indication that price may want to go higher in the future. So expect a break of a high, expect the break of a low, and maybe slowly we can start building up for price to maybe have that deeper retrace and maybe come all the way to this level, right? Because this I never really felt, never feel that space in there. Yeah, let's see. Now I'm a little bit more cautious with sales because I can see the price may wants to go a little bit higher, and eventually in the future, just the same way that it may work on Ethereum, which is start making look like this low is being respected, just for the future, for the end price to go and collect the orders from this guy in here, from that previous level of structure in there. That could be one option, right? So let's pretend that this low is actually being respected for it to be fake out then in the future, right? Whatever version of this you can see, and maybe price can go higher from it, right? So this could be definitely an option in there. Yep, that would be it. Pay attention to maybe this level. How this looks, already a lot of compression in there. For me, I think there is even a break in here. I think there was already a break to the upside in there. That I could consider as well, kind of as an engulf already to the upside somewhere in there. Yeah. Regardless, any engulf to the upside that I could see from these lows, I would still not be 100% bullish in here, because again, pay attention to where this low is reacting to on the left side and see if there's a better zone that price actually wants to visit before actually making that further turn to the upside. So something always to consider. The three questions that I always ask myself, which are: where is price coming from? Where does price want to go? And where is price at the moment, right? So answer those three questions and you'll get to know exactly maybe what are the best zones and where price actually wants to go. So I didn't really talk about pound yet, so let's just go and look at it. So this was actually the trade I took. There were kind of two zones that I was looking at. Yep. So there were two levels. First of all, maybe on the 4-hour time frame, they were ones more visible. I saw these lows and I wanted to see them being taken. So that's first of all what I was waiting for. I think I mentioned that on my previous live stream. And anywhere after these lows, I would be looking for, start looking for longs. This could be the first option. Kind of you have this demand zone in here, maybe with a key M inside there. It could be maybe the first one, and then inside here it was kind of the other extreme on the smaller time frame, right? So I completely missed this move in here. This was actually a zone that I mentioned. I basically covered where price reacted from here, basically half an hour before actually price reacted from there. It was on one of my streams. Trading box actually managed to catch that trade, that long, quite perfectly. But on the lower time frame, after that big spike, this is actually what I could see. This was kind of the last zone that price decided to go all the way down, and then price went all the way up after reacting from that level. And within here, kind of even from this level, is where I'll be looking for that indecision. So this is first kind of demand zone that we had. Press pause and it continue, and this is where I'll be looking for reaction from. So this one was the lows that I wanted to see, this one as well. Maybe the reason for the other one didn't really work is because maybe price had already been taken in here, that higher time, the 4-hour time demand. But yes, I had these two levels in here. So when I saw price reacting from there yesterday, it was one that I actually managed to catch. It was just before 3 or around 3 p.m. So I was still kind of looking at it, and I kind of got long somewhere in here. Yeah. The mistake was, not mistake, but what I didn't do is to re-enter, because there was another entry, possible entry in here. I took my first target in here, kind of retest of this level, but there was another kind of possible re-entry in there just below this double O, and this could have been a good second entry. And there you go. My target was actually, final target for now, it was kind of the retest of this level. I saw this level of structure in there, and there was this fresh wick in there as well. So there could be maybe two targets to look for. This could be the first one. You can see that price still paused in there, and it went back to the, and it went down around this level. And the second, of course, could be even the retest of this zone in here, just above this highs. That could have been a nice target as well to look for, or even the possibility for price to carry on and go higher from here. There is that scenario as well. Let's see how price is going to open next Monday. But there's a scenario that price can even start going higher from there. But yeah, it was a nice one. There may be still orders now around this level. Let me look on the war time frame. We do have kind of this left shoulder, this wall again. And again, similar to what I mentioned before, even regarding the supply zone of touching the base and then the origin, kind of you can even see again how price went higher in here. That was actually one of the triggers to start looking for the long as well after seeing price reacting. Because in this case, we never really broke this supply zone before actually looking for the long, but I did pay attention to this small move up, and usually after such a nice move to the downside, it's actually a good zone to start looking for the long. Yeah, usually it's not that easy to kind of, usually people don't look for longs after such a strong move down, but it's usually a good way that they use to collect orders and to turn price after such a strong move to the downside or a move to the upside. Yeah, let's see. Maybe there's still orders in here, just underneath this load here. There's maybe an option for the future. Of course, underneath this guy and as well could be a good zone to look for. Let me use this one. It is, yeah, that could be a good zone as well to look for possible longs. We do have this one in here, not the biggest fan, maybe somewhere close by to this level. Let's see. Now we start to pay attention to which zones are left behind, which zones are taken, where are those small engulfs happening. But yeah, nice zone in there. See, basically again to the pip. Nice reaction in there. So what else? Maybe good zone in here. But let's see. Similar, like opposite to the euro-dollar. I'll be happy or would be okay seeing pound going higher from here. On euro-dollar, I still would like to see euro creating that lower wall, right, and breaking those walls that I just mentioned before. So let's see what is going to happen in there, and let's see how price is going to open next week. Personally, maybe this size as well haven't really gotten to the final zone. There's maybe still space a little bit above it for price to come and respect these levels instead of stopping from here. So maybe there's still room to the upside. That could be an option, and that can actually happen just from here, just from where we are. This can easily be the lower low now, and price can easily go up from here. Yeah, in case we do break these lows, I'll be paying attention now to see. I'll look on the left side to try to find the next zones in there. Yeah. Dollar yen. So what we have in Dovarian. Dovarian, it was a nice one, actually. Unfortunately, I missed that trade. It happened, or the zone that I wanted, it happened during the Asian session. It still didn't really react from the zone I wanted. It's still respecting this small zone in there. Actually, let me go find it. 1 second. Let's take a look at where actually this level is reacting from the daily. If you just press in there, it takes us there. So it's still reacting underneath this this line here. So it's across these guys in here. I think it's going to eventually to be taken, and as mentioned a few times, kind of I like this 139 something level and maybe even a little bit above it. But yeah, I want to see this week being taken actually before the major reversal on dollar yen. Again, this is higher time frame view. On the lower time frame, we actually had nice PI in here. With this even trend line, it was a nice trend line that you could see somewhere in here or even a little bit above it, regardless of how you draw it. But my attention was actually after the break of this high, the nice turn that we had in here. And I marked this level. Actually, if you even see, it's actually my thumbnail for this stream. It's actually kind of, I had drawn a zone to react from there and then price to go. But this level happened during 1 AM UK time. So Asian session, I'm not looking at the market in that moment, but that actually it was a really nice zone for price to move downside. And now we did create now all these highs in here. Maybe somewhere in here could be a nice zone to look for a potential short still. There's maybe still orders at this origin as well. But it was a nice move. And something that actually looked before, it was for me this was, I think I mentioned on the previous live stream, for me this was already an engulf to the downside. It was a similar move on euro yen, and euro yen actually already broke again this level in here. And when I mentioned before that I kind of missed this setup, the short on euro yen, it was in the moment that yeah, you see 29 of June on Wednesday, I think it was during the panel while Lagarde, Paul and the baby were speaking in Portugal. They're having that conference. Yeah, you could see dollar yen just broke new highs, and because of that, when I saw this, I kind of expecting euro yen to go a little bit higher, but euro yen never did it, and euro yen just went to the downside because kind of was being controlled by whatever euro is doing on that session. Yeah, but nice zone in there. We now reacted and respected these lows in here. Again, nice trend line in here. I'm starting to drawing them because it looks like it's respecting quite nicely until kind of expecting the fake out of them and maybe looking for opportunity to go short. I actually did 2 trades in here on dollar yen during this week, and yeah, so after I saw this these lows being taken in here, I kind of, okay, space is open for price to go to downside. However, because kind of this is a higher time frame engulf, it was an important low. Sometimes what we see is price taking the lows and then maybe retracing and maybe having that deeper trace to come all the way here and take the orders. So after I actually saw the break of this high in here, I went long in here. Second. Yep, I went yeah, after I saw the break of this high, the price didn't really, yeah, after I saw the break of this high, I went long. I think I went long somewhere in here. Or yeah, no, somewhere in here. I kind of price did this. I went long somewhere in here. My target was actually in here, and as you can see, my first target, and as you can see, I missed it. I didn't move to break even straight away. I had price because price could easily just react from here and go, and my kind of break even, it would be somewhere in here. So I didn't move straight away, but as soon as I saw this level being broken, I moved to break even, expecting at least price to hopefully it would retrace, take me at break even, and then I flipped straight away. I start looking for the sell. And when I saw this big rejection in here and it started such a strong move, because I was aware of that thing moved to downside, I flipped. I went short after the break of these lows. And in this case, I actually paid attention to this guy. This is basically what I could see as price respecting it as the zone. I could see these lows in there as well, kind of alignment. So basically that was the zone that I wanted to protect. And I placed my stop loss exactly in here, just above the zone, right? I could see these left shoulders, it's true, but this is kind of the zone that I wanted. I got my first target. First target was the retest of this these previous highs in here, this zone. I did got my first target, but as I mentioned before, after the break of these lows, I kind of could see price going even further down. And this level actually, after the break of these lows, it could be a good final target. I went to bed. Next morning, when I opened my charts, all of a sudden I saw price making all this move. I was happy with it, and then I actually realized that I got stopped out by the pip in here. So, yep, my second position, it was exactly closed in here. This beautiful high just took my order, and then it went down. So, stopped out at the second position, and I didn't manage to catch the move that I wanted. That was my story on dollar yen. It is what it is. And yeah, I was happy when I woke up, saw this thingy, but then when I actually went to check my trades, I noticed that actually it was a loss and not a win trade. Yeah, aside from that, let's see. I could see price continue to downside and actually breaking these lows. This was a nice demand in there. Maybe if you do break this trend line, maybe there's a room to go higher, maybe retest this guy and then could carry on to the downside. That's maybe an option. Maybe in here could be an option to go look for shorts. But I can see also maybe some orders, some zone inside here, just above this size. That could be a good zone as well to look for the shorts aligned with this left shoulder. Especially if you actually even break this low again. Maybe open a little bit of space. Go higher, go down. And eventually react somewhere from there, and yep, and then go take again, and there you go, you are free to go. Maybe then respect this guy again, still come out the back, respect it, and go down, right? Yeah, so look for those zones. Previous level support resistance that should have respected price, it didn't, and it's going to be working on the other side in here as well. That's how you can start making those predictions and looking for ways to benefit from it. But yeah, I saw these lows as an engulf. Similarly, after the engulf, a fake out, and then price can open the door, and maybe the next target is going to be somewhere in here, or even below this low, somewhere even in here. Let's see, right? Because in the higher time frame, still looking for a longer move on yen, but price can easily just retest these lows instead. Last Friday, I think it was CPI numbers on in Japan. I think it was a little bit higher. It's already 2.3% or something like that. The Bank of Japan continues with the same philosophy, not changing anything until everyone is pressuring them, because they don't want to see. It's going to be a point where this yen weakness is not going to be beneficial anymore. Maybe they'll do something with the yields. So let's see what's going to happen in there. But this one in here can be a good zone. Even this one in here can be a good zone as well. Maybe for the shorter term, look for that and go work from there. That will be my view as well on the yen. Yep. And if you take a look at that euro yen. So euro yen, this is the moment that I was saying on the 29, as you can see, 29. 430, which is actually 230 BN. I was looking at this possible zone. I do love wicks. I really like them. And on 1 hour, for example, we did had kind of this zone and this one in here. So euro yen actually made this kind of triple top. This one went a little bit above it, but as I mentioned before, it's just almost exactly the same scenario on dollar yen. We did have this compression in here, and we actually broke these walls. And for me, this is already an engulf to downside. That's why I started to look for that short, especially again after the break of this of these lows. This is kind of a confirmation. Price actually never really got close to this level. Got close, but didn't really touch it. So there's a little bit of space in there, and that's when I started looking for the sell. So when price went up, again, we did have all these highs in here. So it's a nice zone to actually look for sales. Unfortunately for me, when I saw that dollar yen was breaking those highs, I kind of hesitated for a second, and I was looking for price to actually get closer to this zone instead of reacting just from here. And there you go, that was my mistake. Similar scenario once more, in the sense that, as you can see, price went up. It actually retested the base of that small decision point in there. It again broke this zone in here. We actually create kind of this low in there, and there you go. Just took the eyes and it flipped to the downside. And I was looking for price to get here. I think you can see kind of the zone that I'm kind of looking at, or I was looking at, and I'll be looking at it now in the future. But price never got there, and I just missed this this short. As you can see, again, euro yen this week has been kind of controlled by whatever euro has been doing. Again, Tuesday 28, first move to the downside, retest, another move to the downside on Wednesday, another move to the downside on Thursday, and another move to the downside on Friday. Just basically doing what the euro pairs, euro dollar has been doing. So weakness on euro this week, that's what we had, and there you go. This was a trigger that price went to go down. This was another trigger that price went to go down. I should have been more aggressive in there, just take one trade in there, and maybe price went a little bit higher. I should have taken like another one. In this case, I just completely missed the move, and yeah, we had these confirmations already. And just like that, I missed this big move down. Yep, that was it. This maybe it was a good zone to look for a sell, but again, this happened during the Asian session, 3 AM, 1 AM, something like that, so no chance. Which one? Let me just check again. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here with me, man. I didn't know if you were still here or not. If you had left. So let's take a look at that dollar yen. 1 second. Where are we? 136.81, 136. 36.81. Yeah. Exactly right, somewhere in here. Are you still looking at this exactly the same level now, or it was before actually it happened, or before this price went there? Yeah, 36.90. Yeah, you're looking maybe. Yeah, we're looking maybe for this zone above, right? Now. Yeah, I'm still. Yeah, that's a zone that I'll be looking at. My only concern anytime now with higher highs or price getting close to this, like when we are creating like higher highs, like we are on dollar yen, and we are definitely in this bullish trend, right? It's impossible to ignore that we are in this bullish trend. That's why when you are approaching these levels, I actually prefer to try this to catch the sell as price is creating this level in the moment. Kind of as I'm seeing this move being created, I prefer to catch this sell immediately in here. Especially when I still in a higher time frame, I can still see that price may wants to go a little bit higher. So I prefer to look for the sell immediately as this high is being created, instead of kind of waiting now for price to retrace or to go down, and now on the retracement to here. Because in this case, I'm a little bit more concerned, just because this is a higher high, and you are reacting from levels, I don't know, from 24 years ago, which is kind of crazy. So we don't really have any structure close by that is more recent than 24 years ago. So I'll be a little bit more cautious. Maybe I'll be waiting for price to actually react from there, and maybe then see a break, and maybe take a trade in there. Otherwise, I could see price easily maybe creating a new higher high and then retracing again and just taking the orders from these guys. That's my only concern. That's my only concern when I'm looking for higher highs with historical prices of 24 years ago, when we are reacting from. But yeah, that's why I'm kind of a little bit more aggressive of trying to actually look for the sell immediately as this high is being created. Maybe, for example, the same scenario in here. As this high is being created, I would prefer to try to catch this high in here and to take the sell instead of when price was coming approaching this level again. In here, the probability is it's maybe lower. This price can easily just fake out and go somewhere else before the turn, right? That's my only concern, to be honest. For example, on dollar yen, not dollar yen, on pound dollar, because I already like where this low actually is reacting from on the left side. That's why I was kind of okay trying to look still for this long where I did it on last Friday. Because if I still kind of didn't really like where this low reacted from, most likely I would be just kind of waiting for price to even maybe get there. Maybe I would have tried to catch again the long from here. Instead of maybe trying to catch on the trace. But in this case, I like where the low is reacting from. So kind of I actually kind of was aggressively looking for that long on pound. That's my only concern with this yen dollar. But let's see how price approaches this level. I can see price still going a little bit further down. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's the same, right? Dollar yen, of course, it's retesting like 1998 or something like that. I don't even know where this high is reacting from. Let me just check. And the lower time frame I have is on the daily, right? It's impossible to check it. But just by looking at it, I don't really like where all this. I don't like anything of this size. Maybe even breaking a little bit this size, but I have no idea again whatever is inside this spike, which makes it weird. But yeah, seeing this size being taken, maybe already took a little bit of these ones in here, maybe. But a higher time frame, I really want to see this week being taken and price to get a little bit closer to that level, somewhere in here. This actually is one of my favorite zones for higher time frame reversals. Is when you see, because this can be visible on the weekly, maybe even monthly chart. On the monthly, no, not on the monthly, but on the weekly, you can see this week. Where is it? Where are we? Let me just bring charts in here a little bit. 1 second. Yeah, we can see this week even on the weekly. So if you can see them on the week on daily, usually it's going to be a good zone, because maybe people are going to try to sell it in there, and whatever is above it, whatever level is above it, it may become a really interesting zone. And this is again kind of aligned with the last demand on this scale that made this higher high, and then price after that broke it. Kind of this demand price should have done this. It didn't. That's why I'm going to be looking for that. And then of course there's maybe some zones above it, but actually this one is one of my favorite. It's actually the prediction I did to catch that Aussie turn on the higher time frame that I just mentioned. This one in here, right? In here as well. And we can see on the daily and weekly, you can see clearly this high in there, with small compression in there, and there was a fresh zone aligned with this. What am I doing? I don't want any volume here, man. 1 second. Yeah, there was a fresh zone aligned in there, kind of aligned with this last demand as well that created this higher high. That's exactly what I was looking for. You can see, like, it has been the higher high since last year. And yeah, looking at if this was a 5 minutes chart, there could be actually, yeah, I could see as a target. Maybe I think initially it was maybe something like this, but this could actually be a good target. But of course, this is a monthly, whatever it took. It has been like almost 2 years or 1 year and something since that level. Of course, I would never hold a trade that long. But yeah, this was a 5 minute this could be kind of a natural target to look for. Yeah, because this one is already broken, so expect price to go down in the future. This is compressed. This one may be already, so this could be the first target. This one was taken in there, compressed. This could be the next target, and this could be now the next target somewhere in here. That's how I would look at it personally. But that's it. Yeah, dollar yen. Let's see what's going to do. I wish I wish we had more time frame data to check there. We don't. So we need to. What am I doing again? Yeah, let's see. For now, you can see this big rejection to the downside, so kind of the sellers getting in control. Let's see, I could even see price going even underneath this wall. But hopefully it's going to do that, so we can actually catch that sell to catch this move to the downside, right? Hopefully it's not just going to go down without that deep retrace. So we can catch that move. Yeah, euro yen. Yeah, it was a pity I didn't manage to catch a trade. We are actually. This was some news event. This level in there. What's next? What's next on the dollar yen, on euro yen? Maybe underneath this low could be an option. Yeah, let's see. Maybe just do the test of that zone. Maybe all this is taken already. All this compression in here. I don't really think this is a target. Just check on the daily. Are we retesting this guy? I may prefer this one. I think for me, I think this one is already an engulf down, so I could even see price going down. That's one of the things. Yes, yep. Price did took this week in there, so actually this for me is kind of an engulf down. Let's see, price actually wants to go all the way there. Maybe to have this level. Maybe this one in here could be a next zone. So let's see what's going to happen in there. Yeah, let's see. What else? What else should I talk about? CAD. Let's just take a look at CAD, because CAD actually did exactly that scenario that I just mentioned before. I couldn't see more downside on CAD. Let's see if it breaks this trend line. But for me, this kind of as an engulf down. I had already mentioned this one on the last live stream. This for me already was an engulf to downside. Fake out, price goes down. This was actually a nice level. And this is actually the one that I wanted to talk about. Again, similar to what I mentioned regarding that supply. Price touched the base and then the extreme, or price breaks a high just to react then to go higher and correct the highs. Kind of breaks the low and then goes higher to correct the highs. Again, this one, so many people would be selling when price was getting close to this supply again. But there you go. Price just goes a little bit deeper into that supply zone. First reacts from the base of it and then goes and reacts a little bit more inside of the supply. And that's exactly what it does. So many people got frustrated in there. I didn't manage to even trade this one. As I mentioned, I was busy. I'm happy that I at least catch the pound dollar setup. But yeah, it was a nice setup from here. Now let's see how price reacts from this demand zone. But I could see price still going to the downside, right? This one was a simple supply zone in there. Fresh behind without this compression, and there you go, simple touch in there. Actually also the base of this move to the upside. It had that confluence in there. You can see price respecting that level in there. This is kind of one of the last demand zones or fresh zones for price to hold it. Above that, if price actually breaks this wall now, I don't really see that many things, and I can see actually maybe price going out the way and fearing the remaining of this price and maybe reacting somewhere from here. And eventually, if in case price breaks this wall from there. Yeah, just as you can see, this one was still fresh. But aside from that, basically everything is almost taken. This one is actually already broken. So maybe this could be the next zone in there. Before that, let's see how price behaves, if it breaks or not. And if it goes down, let's see. And one of the last ones that I want to talk about is, let's take a look at crypto. I want to go back to our friends crypto, follow up with what I've been talking about last week on Ethereum and Bitcoin. Are we going to have another busy weekend? Basically the last higher high. Let's check the time frame. Basically the last higher high, the last low and the last high has been creating during the weekend. Let's check 1 hour. And this is actually my take in this. Yeah, this one again, it was Saturday or something like that, and this one again, it was Saturday or Sunday, last Sunday, Saturday. I did mention all these zones, especially on the. If I mentioned that last live stream, Bitcoin had broken this low, opened space to downside. All these looked compressed, so kind of the target would be somewhere in here or even a little bit below. I did mention this demand. I think I spent like 20 minutes talking about the move inside here and the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin, the way they moved away from this level. Bitcoin collected this demand zone and now created this new one. Kind of this is kind of the new zone for price to bounce from. Ethereum actually just reacted from here, it went higher and it kind of left this demand zone behind. Now, the question in here for me is, where are these lows reacting from? Not these lows, this highs. Where did these highs reacted from? Is this a valid zone or not? So basically, this high in here has been reacting from this fresh zone in there, right? So in here, and this was a valid zone. Aside from that, for me, kind of all of this is compressed, and price should come back closer to this high. And that's not exactly where this guy is reacting from. Basically, this guy is reacting just above this zone that was broken. So that is the scenario that this could actually be an engulf to the upside. If this is an engulf to the upside, I could definitely start looking for maybe ways to go long from here. Actually, we would like to see still this high being taken. Not this high, this low being taken. This strong move up actually quite literally just came and collected this last supply that was still fresh. It was even aligned with this low in there. But as you can see, we kind of had these zones in there. Next supply level, and this supply in here kind of was taken already on the way down. So there you go. Just take this highs, collect it. Now price already reacted from this demand, but I could easily see price going a little bit further down. I don't think it still kind of reacted exactly from there, and maybe then go higher from here. This could be one of the options. Ethereum, on the other hand, has done something different, because Ethereum had already kind of broken this high. It actually broke this high. It reacted from the other one on 4 hours time frame. It doesn't look like it broke the zone, but if you actually look on the daily, Ethereum actually broke the high. So let's take a look at Ethereum right now. So for me, I think on Bitcoin, I don't think this high actually got until where it should have. Even if you look at the 4 hour time frame, didn't react from this level. No, it didn't react from there. And if you look at the daily, didn't react there either. So yeah, again, higher time frame, I'm still bearish. Okay, so I can still see price going further down. I don't think this is the Volvo. I can still see price going further down. However, on the lower time frame, I haven't mentioned that I actually like where this low reacted from, and I could see price going a little bit above it. Regardless, I'm still bearish on the higher time frame. Ethereum, and just to compare with what I mentioned before regarding Aussie, so this was the compression that I mentioned, which was kind of similar to Aussie. We had all these lows in here, and this basically was a compression zone, right? Kind of we had this demand, and there was some kind of reaction from it, from this guy, but then price just shoot down, and we took this low. It's kind of the beginning of this compression to the upside. We just took it in here. This for me in reality is actually an engulf to the downside. Okay, this is basically price opening the door. It wants to go further down, and this zone in here, this kind of demand zone, somewhere in there around 750 or 60, somewhere in there, could be a good zone. Higher time frame level, I could even see price going further down. I do like this kind of zone, 400, whatever, because this is kind of a nice demand on a weekly and monthly time frame. Actually, from here we actually broke out these highs, so higher time frame, if the indices are actually going to go further down, crypto could follow it. So, but now from what we have in here, we do two levels. So kind of we could have here, and as I mentioned before, kind of this one was swept while Bitcoin took this one, Ethereum didn't. So let's see what happened in there. But this is the one that I mentioned. Like on the 4 hour, it looked like we never took really this week in here. We did took this order, this zone in here that kind of I mentioned where I wanted Bitcoin to go to. But on the daily, we actually broke this high in here. Which makes it interesting. Nice reaction now from this week, actually. A nice reaction from there. Maybe the next one could be also this one, kind of still fresh. Regardless, I could still see price going a little bit further down, or maybe just price is just going to respect this demand now and go higher from here. It's reacting from this as well. Nice zone again on the daily, and all this support resistance level in there, all this SR that created this from here. It's basically where price created this Volvo. But I would prefer to see price actually going a little bit closer to this level. So kind of taking these lows could be a nice and interesting thing. We kind of broke this one, and we kind of entered into this compression that could kind of make price go higher. I'll give the sign out that price wants to go a little bit higher. This again, this zone as a target, it was quite amazing. I think I covered it last Tuesday because we did have this rectangle. This was an engulf to the downside, already showing the next target. This was the next zone, and in the case we actually broke this level, there was literally space for price to go all the way to here, or even because this one already broke that one, there was even the case of price going all the way to here. And aside from that, of course, there's not many orders in here, so expect just a break of it and pay attention to what happens next. So far, big reaction to the upside from there, but this was definitely a great zone to look for that for shorts. Check out again, break of this low, price wants to go down, doesn't reach a target, fake out, now it goes there and reach it. I know a few guys that caught this beautiful short in here and even caught the next short in there. Unfortunately, they closed the targets too early. They closed the trade too early. But nice PI in here across Ethereum and even Bitcoin. But now the question, as I mentioned before, remains: is this an engulf to the upside or not? On the daily, it is. On the 4 hour, it may look like it isn't. But we did break this key level. This was actually the key level for me. It was this one. So what do you guys think? If you think this is an engulf to the upside or not, if you are expecting crypto to go high, Ethereum and Bitcoin to go higher from here, or if you are expecting new lows, and what is your view on a higher time frame? Are you guys looking for, is this your dip? Is this your bottom? I mean, is this the low? Is price going to the moon now? Are you expecting new lows? Where are you looking for? Which zone are you looking for possible higher time frame scenario for the crypto space? How are you guys positioning yourselves in this space? I could see, yeah, as I mentioned, for me that was kind of an engulf now. Definitely, this is a demand zone. Price is already reacting from there. We even have now this fake out, so there's maybe a scenario of price just reacting from here and going higher. This supply maybe it's already reacted from there, so it's maybe weaker now. But this is a possible scenario, maybe for today's session. Eventually, I would like to see price coming a little bit farther down and taking these guys. And maybe then going higher, with the possibility that we still have orders in here. Yeah, I think that's it for today's live stream, for today's weekly analysis. I went through basically all the markets that I look at. Maybe not gold. I actually had a really interesting conversation during this week on Twitter about gold with one guy. So it was nice. I liked his view. It also opened my eyes for a few things. What gold did before, like 2013 or something like that, when it dropped really strongly from a level. So yeah, really nicely. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Aside from that, basically I covered all the pairs, all the markets that I kind of look at. Main focus on Forex, but I do pay attention to something else, to the others as well. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, if you got value from this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and let's have more conversations just like today. Thank you, Phaedon, for joining and for interacting with me. Hopefully more people will start to join more as well, and you're going to have great interactions during these live streams. That's the goal, to talk about a few key levels, to have some conversations about it, and maybe catch those zones together. That's the main point of it. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Wishing you a great weekend. Yeah, have a great trading week if you are in US. Happy Independence Day on Monday. Thank you for joining, guys. See you next time. Obrigado.